Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be focusing on putting all my timing components on. I got to put my guards on. The issue I have with my guards is that they're in pretty poor shape, as in any vehicle around this age. These are them. I mean, they got broken holes in them, and then this one has a pretty good groove cut through it from one of the belts. We'll see how it goes. I might not put them on at all. Just matters how they look after I put them on. If any of this extra, I'll try to clean this up a little bit. Any of these extra pieces get in the way. I know I probably should just go get some new ones, but I can do that at a later date. That should hold. It's the right side cam. Okay. Good thing I put these covers back on because I forgot this is what gives you your timing marks. I still need to get some new ones. These ones are still very trashed. So I'm going to torque my cam gears down to 65 foot-pounds. And I don't have the proper tool to hold this in place to keep it from spinning. So I'm going to see if I can get it to work. I'm going to take this old timing belt, wrap on here, see if I can keep it from spinning. Seemed to work pretty good. Alright, I went ahead and already turned my motor upside down to make it easier to put the key in so it doesn't fall out. Just a tab of oil just to help it slide the timing gear on easier. I put my tensioner on. When I took it off, I compressed it. Put a nail through it to hold it compressed. Then I got my tension roller. It has a special sleeve that goes inside too. Don't forget that part. It goes right down here. I got two idler pulleys. I'm going to put one on, and then I'm going to put the second one on after I have the belt on. I'm going to put one at the top one on. The second one goes right here. The reason why you leave one off right now was because sometimes it's hard to get your belt on, and that one has the least amount of tension on it. Now before you put your belt on, you want to make sure you line up all your timing marks. So here on your right side, the timing mark is right here, and on the case it's right there. On the left side, that's my timing mark. I need to get it up there. And then on my main crank, it's right there. There's a tiny little mark right there. That's where I line it up with. I got an old timing belt to try to assist me in moving my cams around. Now when you put your timing belt on, you want to make sure you take out all your slack in between your main sprockets, because if you don't, this extra slack here might actually turn it so you'll be one tooth off. Here on this side I'm trying to pull it so I can get this extra tooth on, and it's not wanting to make it. So what you can do is you change your timing mark slightly like that. Get your belt on, and then you can turn it back. When you turn it back, it'll put a lot of tension back on this belt. Helps to hold stuff in place too. And again, on this side, see how this is really loose, but it's sitting in place? So I need to turn my timing mark slightly so I can get it looped on in the correct position. There we go. Now let's put our bottom tensioner on here to see if everything tightens up. Okay, so all our tensioners are on now. Let's double check all our marks to make sure nothing is popped off on us. Make sure they're realigned, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the timing belt tensioner, pull the nail out of it, and see if everything stays. Looks like all my marks are fine, so I'm going to pull my pin out. Now what I want to do is a couple of rotations on the engine to make sure everything stays in time. And when I do this, I'm going to turn my motor upside down because I had all that oil inside my oil pump. If I do it upside down, at least it'll stay in the oil pump. Alright, let's check all our timing marks. Looks like our right side's in time. Our left side looks like it's off by one. So we're going to have to go back and fix that. So what I'm going to try to do is we'll try to keep it in time by putting a couple zip ties on it. So I'm going to have to take my tensioner back off and recompress it. When you compress these, just put a little tension on it and then wait a second. It'll catch back up. It's all compressed now, so I can put my nail in. Try to fix the left side can so it's in time. Make sure we got no slack on this side. Looks like there's a little bit. I think what we need to do is we need to get our timing mark past here, because when this pushes out, it's going to take the slack out of this side, which is going to move this timing mark that way. So we need to go just past the timing mark. So we get this one lined up, so zip ties on it. This one's lined up. And this one here, we're going to go past the mark, because when this takes up tension, it takes up the tension on this section here. So it's going to rotate this slightly. So if you look here, so that one's just right past the mark. So let's put our idler back on and see what happens. Now we can pull our pin out. Now I'm going to do it again where I flip it upside down and run through a couple rotations. Looks like that one's lined up. That one's lined up. And that one's lined up. So now we're all in time. So let's put our covers back on. That's how you put your timing on. Next we had to put our exhaust and our intake on, and the motor's going to be just about ready to put back in, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching.